Hey, you want to make the most of your life and live your life without regrets? Well, let's dive into the essential steps you're going to need to take in order to get that kind of a life.
In this video, you're going to learn how to prioritize what truly matters to you. And that's what is the most important thing. You're going to be empowered to live fully and do the things that you actually want to do.
Yes. But before we get into that, we have something we want to give you.
We want to give you a gift because we wrote an ebook recently and it's all about Gen X starting over, which basically is about our relationship, how we stay connected, all of the things that we do to communicate, to keep our connection and our fire burning. And we would love to give that to you. All we would ask for is your email address. So there's a link in the description. Go ahead and grab that. It's a PDF download and it's ready for you as soon as you sign up.
Awesome. We can't wait for you to read it. Now, getting back into it. How many of you have heard about the deathbed experience? People laying there going, oh, if only I would have. It's really present for us, and it's something we think about a lot. And it's not from a negative space, it's more of a motivating space. And so what we would want to do is give you some things that we have been talking about as practicals. Open up your eyes and get you thinking.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing we think about, and again, this isn't a negative thing. This is about, are we getting busy living or getting busy dying? Yeah. So we only have so much time in our human experience, and we really think it's important to have all the experiences that we can and really live a full life with great relationships and great connection and feeling good.
Yeah.
And being authentic with it too.
And we know that when we talk about this, it can kind of open up a can because all of us have a reason why we live the life we're living at this moment. And it can be for a bazillion different reasons. But the point of this video is to help you open up your eyes to some of the things in that can so that all of us together can start living the life we really want. Moving forward, the idea is what can you do to have the life you really want to have? So the first point that we would like to run by you, what's actually true for you? What's really true? It's important to start with that. Because everything you feel, everything that you want to feel but you're not letting yourself feel, all those things, all of that matters right now, and that's where we're starting with, is what's true for you.
Yeah, and that means what do you want to do that you think about or you have been dreaming of doing your whole life, and you keep putting it off for any number of reasons. But what are those things that are really important to you? And it may not be something as crazy as skydiving, but just simple things like maybe you want to take up a new hobby or travel to a specific place or just experience something even in a local area. What's important to you?
Yeah, and also what's the big dreams? I mean, when we were kids, the 80s promised us all sorts of magic by the time we were this age, didn't it?
Flying cars.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of it. I mean, we can talk on our wristwatch. We can speak to satellites. I mean, it's pretty great what we do have. But where are those dreams? What do you really want? It's okay to think about that because this is, again, what's true. You can have practical stuff. You can have pie in the sky stuff.
This is especially something to consider wherever you are in your life. If you're a parent or if you, whatever your situation is, you have a unique experience happening. And this question is designed to ask you if your experience is aligned with what you actually want. So whether or not you've been a parent so long that you've given all of your energy to taking care of your kids and then maybe forgotten to ask that question of what do I want? Yep. What's important to me?
Now the next really important question is what the hell don't you want? Because it's real easy to have a life full of the things that you really never intended in the first place. Or maybe they started off on the right foot, now you got 5 feet, and you're like, wait, how many feet am I standing on here?
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, the next big, really important question to ask is, what do I not want in my life anymore? Because that's just as important as what you do want.
Yeah, then this can be things that you're doing that you don't want to be doing, but you're doing them anyway. And sometimes that comes out of obligation, and obviously sometimes those obligations are real. But if you're out of balance and you're not able to come back to yourself, and you're doing more things that you don't want to do than things that you do want to do, that's what these questions are for.
Yeah. We recommend you sneak away somewhere where nobody has to see you or even look at what you're doing and write these things down. These first two questions we're asking you could be, the key to you unlocking some truth for yourself that could change your life. Now, that's the third question we'd like to ask you is, would it be okay? Would it be okay with you to do more of what you actually want? Would it be okay with you to live the life you really want for yourself?
I think take a pause and really feel that question. Would it be okay to feel better? Would it be okay to enjoy your life more? Would it be okay to spend more time doing things that light you up and fuel your fire?
Yeah. So the next part of this, part 2, is what is in the way? Because if you don't ask that question, then you can just sit there being frustrated and your mind, if your brain has been doing a good job keeping you from dangerous stuff and taking risks, then asking yourself what's in the way is going to make it really flustered. So it's really important you ask. Because the first thing is, what is in the way? What are your obligations? Is it loved ones? Is it family? Is it, we know people who have put themselves into a box because their family expects them to take over and do things for the family. And you watch them subvert their own dreams. Is that one of them for you?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to look at where you're giving yourself and what you're doing subconsciously to yourself, those things that are in the way. And it might be just keeping a record for a week of all the things that you do and then putting them in 2 lists. I do these things for me, I do these things for someone else, I do these things for my kids, my job, and just kind of log that and look at it. And if it's really out of balance, it's a time to have conversations, create some new boundaries, and find some time in your schedule for you, because you do matter.
Because if the people in your life hear that there's things you would like to do that would make you happy and they have a problem with that, that's something to look into resolving. Now, the next question is, what about your career or your job or your responsibilities? You may have so many things on your plate that the idea of pursuing some dream may feel like folly, like you don't understand what I'm up against. You would know better than we would, and that's part of writing it down. Is your career or your job in the way?
And that can be something that at this point, wherever you're at in your journey watching this, if your career or job isn't working as something you enjoy doing and it's just something you do to keep living your life, maybe it's a good opportunity to make a lateral move or consider a career shift entirely. It's never too late to do these things, and it can be a little scary to uproot yourself and go in a different direction. But if you're being honest and your job sucks and you don't like going to work and the people you work with are awful and you can't do anything about it, the only thing you can change is find a different situation, So it's kind of important to look at how you spend most of your time. And most people do have a career or job that they're spending a lot of hours during the week. And if that job is just draining you, it might be really important to take a look at that.
And the third question to this section is, are your values and your goals aligned? Are you trying to live a life that's in contrast or in contrary to your actual values? Now, we're not going to try to pull out all what your values are. We invite you to do some research, Google it. How do I find my true values? Because that is a journey that's worth taking. Because you'll find very often, because I certainly did, that there were things that I deeply value, but there was no evidence of it in my life in many, many areas. Because that's really an important part of this, is to be aligned with who you really are. Don't try to be aligned with who everyone thinks you're supposed to be, or who you think you're supposed to be.
Well, a lot of people go through life with expectations that they are playing out, and as a society and a culture, just getting married, having kids, and the white picket fence and the half a dog or whatever it is, or 2.5 kids, not half a dog. I think you're supposed to have a whole dog. Yeah.
A 3-legged dog.
3-legged dog and a white picket fence and 2.5 kids, but nobody really fits into a mold that works for everybody. And this is where you can question the expectations that have been placed on you by your family, society, culture, and even yourself, and the goals you have for yourself. But the values you have for yourself are kind of different than goals. So if one of your goals is peace in your life, and your career is not peaceful, and your relationship is not peaceful, and your home is not peaceful, this is like you're trying to tell yourself that this is going on. So as far as where you're going right now, what's the trajectory that you're on?
This is the third part.
If you didn't change anything,
Yeah.
and you just kept going on the path that you're on, where would you be in 5 years?
Yeah.
What would that feel like? What would the people in your life be like? What would your relationships and your job and like just kind of project that. Imagine what it would be like if everything just kept going as it was. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it just kind of cycling like a hamster wheel? And just consider that.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't even have to be super extreme. Sometimes you could be in the more pernicious cycle of being comfortable. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be comfortable in your deathbed? Because that's the next question. On your deathbed, what are you going to look back and go, I'm sure glad I didn't take that chance. I'm sure glad I didn't say, I love you. Like you've heard this. You can Google this and find all sorts of lists of what people say on their deathbed is their biggest regret. Do you want your life to look just like one of those lists? I mean, neither of us do.
No, and it's interesting because if you think about it now, you still have time.
Yes.
And part of this, the whole point of this is creating a bucket list for yourself and things that you want to accomplish and things you want to experience. And doing that, people talk about it, but actually doing that and then scheduling it and putting it into your calendar and
Making a plan.
And making it happen. When you can actually do that for yourself, you feel more of that aliveness and that excitement for being alive and having this experience and sharing it with the people you care about.
Yeah. Would it be okay with you if you changed your path? Wouldn't it feel great to know that you're moving towards something that really makes you happy? And again, it's not too late to start over. It really is not.
It's not too late to just change a little bit. A small change can really adjust the path that you're on in a big way. So it doesn't have to be a big, terrifying anything.
Right.
Just starting to make small changes with the intention of going that way instead of on this path that you see is like there's nothing bright ahead or it's just okay. And you can actually move towards something that's exciting and fulfilling and
yeah,
go
like
that
you
way.
don't have to go from like I'm a CPA in the back office to I've really wanted to sled the Iditarod. Like you can make that, but maybe the next thing you could do is just
Where'd you come up with these things?
just-
What is the Iditarod?
that's the big dog sled thing up in Alaska, going all throughout the Yukon and yeah.
I think that's going to be the title of this video. In case you were thinking about sledding the Iditarod,
Yeah.
you should watch this video first.
So that's just our 2 cents on everything. We would like to know what you think about this. We would like to know what keeps you up at night. What do you wish you could do that you're not doing? Plus, if you've overcome these things, we'd like to know, what are you doing? What could inspire us? Because we're not the experts. We're just doing, we're sharing what we know works for us.
Yeah, what works for you? We want to hear your input. Make some comments and maybe respond to some people that have commented as well and help each other out. We're always here to help each other. It's kind of our whole point.
If you like this stuff, please like and subscribe and comment and get to know us.
We appreciate it.
Ah! Whoa! Whoa!